Yo, what is up, everybody? Watt007 here, and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the new Forbidden and Limited list that just dropped in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. And my dumb accidentally clicked on the first thing on the Forbidden and Limited list details. And let me tell you what, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this ban list might be the ban list to make a lot of these meta decks have been a little annoying. Gone for good, boys and girls. I don't want to overhype it because the rest of it's going to be like a just blind reaction. So maybe this ban list isn't going to be good. Maybe it's not going to change anything in the meta, but I have a feeling that this is going to make an impact in the meta right here, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you guys are excited for the ban list review / reaction, you guys know what to do. Leave a like on the video down below. Sub to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content. And without further ado, let's go take a look at the new Forbidden and Limited list changes and the new skill rebalance that we're going to be getting in Duel Links, dude. I am very curious to see what's going to happen here. And first things first, we're going to go take a look at the Forbidden and Limited list. And look at this, boys. Azure Eyes and Melody of the Awakening Dragon is both getting to Limited 1. I knew Konami was going to hit the deck in a way that's going to hurt it, but I wasn't expecting it to be like this. So just from this alone right here, this is insane right here because of the fact that now, if you're going to really want to like survive in a duel for a very long time with Blue Eyes White Dragon, you're not going to be able to kind of live those long-term matchups, because if you don't have Melody of the Awakening Dragon anymore, you're going to have less of an opportunity to go into Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, because that was the card to search for a extra copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon and Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. So that's going to hurt you a lot, because what's the combo is that you get into your alternative White Dragon, you pop a card on the board, and then you synchro it off for Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and then you sack off Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon for Azure Eyes Dragon to have those long-term plays. What probably is going to happen is I feel like some people that heavily rely on alternative White Dragons, because it's just a fantastic card, is probably going to just not play Azure Eyes whatsoever and still play Melody Awakening Dragon, because Azure Eyes isn't played in every single matchup in Blue Eyes, but it's still a very useful card. So people might start subbing in into some other cards that you could bounce into with Spirit Dragon, but unfortunately can't like stay on the board. So Spirit Dragon is going to have a harder time of floatability because you can't go into Azure Eyes, because what sucks about Spirit Dragon's effect is that when you sack it off to special summon a light synchro monster from your extra deck, it doesn't stay on the board. The only reason why Azure Eyes does is because of its ability, or when it's special summoned, dragon monsters can't get targeted or destroyed by card effects. So it's really rough. It's really rough for the deck, and it's going to hurt the long-term ability. I still feel like Blue Eyes is going to have a strong startup from these two hits alone. It's still going to be able to like pop off in the beginning and still be able to do work, but you're just gonna have to change the way you play, and it's gonna be hard for long-term survivability. But we still are not done yet. We don't know if Ultimate Dragons got hit yet or what, but let's continue on with the meta review, boys. Okay, next up, Storm. Okay, I haven't seen Storm that much, but there is a lot of decks in the game that are going to start utilizing more back row and back row that stays on the board, and Storm's a fantastic card to get rid of those cards to then pop back row. So it's going to be interesting right here. But yeah, this card will be limited as it has the potential to end duels immediately depending on the deck. So there's probably some cheese strategy where you can like pop your cards, do a lot of effect damage, and then, you know, pop back row. But at the same time, I'm not too sure why Storm got hit. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, this is either getting hit to just prevent decks in the game that are getting added soon, like potentially like Fire Fist or like maybe Amazonas. I don't know. Those are like the two decks that I can think of on the top of my head that have like back row that's stuck, and you can use Storm to get rid of it quickly to pop back row. So I don't know, but that's an interesting hit. That's actually a very, very, very interesting hit right there. But good to see that happen, because I think that's going to stop degenerate decks from doing some degenerate combos. There you go, boys. Oh, man. Okay, moving on. Let's go take a look at the other stuff right here. So that is it for the Limited 1 right here. Still, Azure Eyes and Melody of the Awakening Dragon both on the Limited list hurts the deck so much, man. Oh my goodness, dude. And it's crazy too, because Melody Awakening Dragon was a card that you only can have access to one copy of, but now that's in the Limited 1 list, it is just hit so bad because you can't play other Limited 1 cards, because that's how the Duel Links ban list works. If you didn't know, you could play one card from the Limited 1 list. You can't rock Azure Eyes and Melody. You can't. So it's just insane. Moving on though to the Limited 2. Let's see what else they hit, guys. Let's see what else they hit here. Okay, they're hitting Dragunity Knight. It looks like Dragunity Knight. I wonder if this deck's seen some play in the Casey Cup. But yeah, they're hitting Dragunity right here because if I remember correctly, Dragunity is a deck that is a really fast-paced deck that is topped in multiple KC Cups, so they're probably just hitting it now. Again, they're just hitting it so that they don't have access to limited 2 cards, unfortunately. Again, I don't think this is a deck that's like top tier in like tournaments, but I think it's really good for climbing the ladder if your opponent doesn't expect it. So that's an interesting hit. I'm surprised. Next up, we have Cybernetic Fusion support. So they're also hitting Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon's been off and on the tier list. It's been tier 3. It's been, I don't know if it's been tier 2 recently, but it's been tier 3. And it's been a really good climb deck in PvP. Like, Cyber Dragon players love climb in PvP, and they're able to win a lot of duels. So looks like to promote deck diversity, because Cyber Dragons actually has been a very popular deck for a very long time, they're going to be hitting this card on the limited 2 list. Again, these kind of hits are just kind of hitting the like fast-paced climb decks that have been in the game for way too long to try to promote some diversity, I guess. That's kind of like what this ban list seems to be so far, but that's another interesting hit. Poor Cyber Dragons getting hit once again, bro. We have Gaga Sister. So this actually kind of needed to happen. Onomats has been a very popular deck right now with the fact that it has Hatronade, Gaga Bolt, be able to just wipe back row and wipe monsters like no tomorrow. Getting Gaga Sister hit is going to hurt the deck a lot because, one, you're not going to have 3 Gaga Sister anymore, so it's going to be harder to go for some insane Xyz plays, and now you're going to lose access to Hatronade. This is actually a hit that's going to hurt the deck a lot. That is a bummer for you guys that played that deck, but it might have had to happen, man. The deck was really powerful and pretty toxic when it got going, and as time goes on, when we get more and stronger Xyz monsters in the game, a deck like this is just going to need to get hit because of just the potentially overpowered Xyz monsters. So I'm honestly not surprised about this hit, but it's still, you know, sucks to suck type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Next up, we have Star Seraph Sovereignty. So this is good because that deck, let me tell you what, Star Seraph Dark Lords is so toxic. So hitting this card right here, we're limiting Star Seraph Sovereignty as a combination of Star Seraph Spectre, and this card is unusable in a wide range of decks that can almost secure victory when full combinations before it on turn 1, with a few cards capable of turning around the duel. Yeah, like basically the chairs just let you draw your entire deck. So even if you have barely any cards, or even if your combo is very core for certain cards, for a 20 card game where you can basically thin out your deck by using the chairs here, it's just OP, bro. It's OP, man. So this hit had to happen. That is for sure. The Seraph Dark Lords definitely need to get hit, and this is just an engine that's just way too good to not be limited, so they had to hit that too. So that makes sense too. Honestly, I'm agreeing with everything on this ban list, and this ban list is insane, bro. Oh my goodness. Next up, we have Sanctified Dark Lord. Sanctified Dark Lord will be moved to the limited 2 list alongside of other Dark Lord cards, as the archetype has persistently high win rate with combination of various other cards, and is seeing widespread use despite previous limitation. Konami is like, keep Dark Lords dead, bro. Konami wants Dark Lords to stay dead, bro, because Dark Lords used to be a very powerful tier 1 deck back in the day, and it was highly toxic back in the day. And the fact that it just came out of nowhere again thanks to the Star Seraphs, Konami's like, we gotta, dude, Dark Lords, we need new decks to promote. We need more money, dog. We're hitting you again, bro. We're hitting you again, but still, people had to shell out for the Star Seraphs anyways to make the deck playable, so Konami still made their cash. But yeah, no shot, bro. Yeah, Sanctified Dark Lord definitely had to get hit right here. Again, Dark Lord's a very powerful deck that's been around for a lot of time, and to promote deck diversity, they're hitting this deck. Like, this ban list is basically just a new breath of fresh air, because we're getting a new box that's probably going to have some new meta decks, and all the current meta decks are just getting hit right now. So, you know, they're going to be able to have some new decks in the game to keep the game fresh, because the game has been very stale recently. So I respect the opinions of what they're doing here. It makes sense. It makes sense. Next up, no more for the limited 2 list. Okay, next up on this list right here, Lunalight Yellow Martin. Okay. We'll be limiting this card to promote card diversity, as its archetype has been metagame for a long time, and because play and release will further strengthen Beast Warrior type monsters. So that makes sense. It's pretty self-explanatory. Lunalights have been making a comeback recently, and it's been a popular deck, and the fact that it's been coming back kind of like with certain other archetypes is not a surprise. It's been comboed in like some Predaplant builds and just some wacky shit. So getting that hit makes a lot of sense. And again, like they said, with some new Beast Warrior cards, like I know we're getting Fire Fist support too, and we're probably going to get some more, you know, Beast Warrior stuff later on in the game. It makes sense right here. So that is an understandable hit too. Next up on the ban list here, we have another hit right here, Lunalight Emerald Bird. I think Konami's just straight up murdering Lunalights, and I'm all for it, bro. Because while Lunalights wasn't the most competitive deck recently, it was still an annoying deck to play around with. Once they got those fusion monsters on the board, man, oh my goodness, it was so annoying to play against them if you're not prepared for it. So I'm okay with these hits. Keep these furries gone, bro. No more furry meta, bro. No thank you, dog. Next up on the limited list, that is it for the limited list. Oh, cool. So Dragonity Census is actually going to get off the ban list right here. So it's going to be unlimited, as its power level is acceptable in the current metagame. So that's cool right here. So I guess what they're doing here is that they're just making it so where you can't summon 3 of these guys anymore and still keep it where you can't use limited 2 cards. But at least in some ways, I think this might be a buff. I don't know. In some ways, this might be a buff here. I'm not too sure, but that's actually cool. That's off the ban list. What an insane limited list, though. We're also going to have to see if the skills got hit because I think Blue Eyes might get hurt really bad depending on if they nerf Ultimate Dragon. So let's go move on to the skill changes here because I really hope that the skill changes will definitely change how Blue Eyes plays because with Melody and then Assert Eyes only getting hit here, I think Blue Eyes is still going to stay around. It's going to not be as good as what it used to be, but it's still going to be a very powerful deck. So let's go take a look. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff going on right here. Okay, then. We got Check Out My Fusion and Pathway to Chaos. We're strengthening some character exclusive skills to make them easier to use. And it looks like they're nerfing level duplication, augmentation, and reduction because synchro and exceed summons are now easily utilized without skills that adjust the monster's level or giving a harder activation to condition the skill. That's very interesting. We're also seeing Titan Showdown skill going to be given a harder activation condition as more cards can increase and decrease life points have been added to the game since the addition of the skill. Onomats play also getting hit. They're killing Onomats, bro. Oh my goodness. And then there's no shot. They didn't hit Ultimate Dragons? No shot. There's no shot Konami didn't do that. Okay. Blue Eyes is still going to be meta, but yes, it's not going to be as good as Emor. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think Blue Eyes will be able to get tier 1 anymore. But it might still be tier 2 in certain metas and like tier 3 and still be able to climb the meta game like no tomorrow, bro. Dude, what's going on, Konami? Whatever, though. Let's go take a look at the new skill balances. I am so surprised it did not hit the alternative White Dragon skill and Ultimate Dragons, bro. Anyways, though, Check Out My Fusion and Pathway to Chaos. Okay, so Check Out My Fusion can be used each time your life points decrease by 1,500. Return 1 card from your hands to the deck and add Vehicuroid Connection Zone from your hand from outside your deck. The skill can be used once per turn and twice per duel. So I wonder what the old text of this says, because this doesn't seem that much of a buff by that 1,500 life points thing, but let's find out. Okay, so I took a look at the original text of Check Out My Fusion, and this buff that Check Out My Fusion got, I don't think it's going to affect the deck that much, because all this allows you to do now is that you can still draw for your turn, but if you want to get Vehicuroid Connection Zone, you can trigger the ability, return a card from your hand to your deck, and then add the card to your hand. So it might help Roids, but at the same time, it's not that much of a buff from Check Out My Fusion, because the Check Out My Fusion's original tech takes that you have to replace your draw completely after you trigger the skill. So, it's whatever. It's honestly not that big of a change. Next up, we have Pathway to Chaos getting changed. Change one of the following monsters you control to the monster listed. If you're changing an effect monster, send 1 Karibo from your hands to the graveyard. This skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. A monster that includes Gaia the Fierce Knight in its original card name, change it to Blackluster Soldier. Monster whose original name is Blackluster Soldier, change it to Blackluster Soldier Super Soldier. So looks like right here, if you're going to be playing the effect versions of Gaia and Blackluster Soldier, like the ones that like have effects but like state Blackluster Soldier, you are going to have to sacrifice a Karibo. Luckily though, you can probably just play Spear Karibo and use that as like discard fodder, but if it's still in your hand, you can protect yourself in a turn or whatnot. So an interesting skill, a very interesting skill. But yeah, you're going to basically be able to change your monsters on the board into different ones after you summon them onto the field, which is cool. So if you play like a generic ritual deck with Blackluster Soldier, you can switch it to Super Soldier easily. Or if you have like a cheese deck or whatever that can change the name of the monster to Blackluster Soldier or Gaia the Fierce Knight, you can pop a Karibo and then switch it to the other monsters right here. So that's cool. I like that. That's a nice little buff in my opinion. Next up though, let's go take a look at the nerfs right here. We got level duplication, level augmentation, and level reduction, which are probably gonna have kind of the same effects here. First of all, for what I can tell right here, well, we got actually a lot of changes here. So I think all 3 of these have the same beginning text now. So all 3 of these state can be used when your life points are at 3,000 or lower. By revealing 1 monster card in your hand and by selecting 1 monster in the field, the selected monster's level will become equal to the level you revealed to the end of the turn. Okay, so level duplication, augmentation, reduction all do the same thing, but now you have to lose 1,000 life points in order to trigger the skill. Very interesting. So basically what's happening here is that Konami is just going to just poke the skills and not make them useless anymore. These skills still will see play. Cosmic Cyclone is still a deck or still a card that is commonly used in the game because banishing certain back row cards is actually more useful than just sending them to the graveyard. So this is actually a pretty good or like a kind of reasonable hit here. So Potentially these skills can still be broken depending on what, you know, synchro and exceeds monsters we get in the game later on, but it's going to be harder to trigger these skills because maybe you'll have to run Cosmic Cyclone in your deck now when you don't normally do that, or you got to wait till you lose some life points in order to trigger the skill, so you're not going to have that versatility like you used to when it came to certain builds and whatnot. So it's a reasonable hit. It's not completely ruining the skills, but it's making it to where it's going to be harder to utilize these for cheese strategies, which is probably a good thing at the end of the day. So that's interesting there. Next up on Untitled Showdown, whenever player has double or more life points than the other takes battle damage. If you don't have a dinosaur type monster in the field, your opponent will not take double damage. So this skill is pretty much nerfed or pretty much useless unless dinos get a ton of insane support. So that's interesting right here. So right now, for anybody that cheeses Titan Showdown like they did with Rex Raptor, they're not going to be able to do that anymore, which is unfortunate for some combos that people have been thinking of with the new box coming out. But with Titan Showdown right here getting hit, this is probably for the best that it's only going to make it so we can only use dino monsters to trigger this skill, because dinos don't really have any cheese strategies that can utilize Titan Showdown, and it's more fitting with the skill and Rex Raptor. So this skill will probably see play again once dinosaurs get really good support, but for now, this is a good hit, and I'm okay with it because cheese strategies can be very cheesy, that's for sure. And I think this is the last skill we're going to take a look at right here. So on Onomats play, you can return one Zubaba, Gagaga, Dododo, or Dododo card from your hand to your deck, and then add one of that type monster. With a different name from your hand or your deck. This skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. Okay. So I think the nerf here is that you can't search for Gagaga Bull anymore. You can't search for that card anymore. Because I think if I look at Onomats play, you could search for any of those Gagaga cards as long, yeah, it didn't matter if it was a monster or not. Let me double check. Okay, I'm dumb. I looked up what the actual skill was for Onomats play. Now I see how this skill got nerfed. I don't play the deck. Leave me be. So they nerfed it to where, so before with Onomats play, you would be able to return to 2 Zubaba, Gagaga, Dododo monsters from your hands to the deck and then add 2 cards from your deck back to your hand. Now they're nerfing it to where you only can return one of them back from your hand to the deck and then search for only one card. Very, very, very interesting, but honestly understandable right there. So it doesn't kill the skill, but it definitely weakens it to what it was before. So you can't like double search for the cards that you need. But again, I think this is definitely an understandable nerf atop of the Gagaga sister nerf. And I think it's going to be healthy for the metagame from that hit right there. But sorry for all you Yuma fans out there with your Yuma deck, bro. Unfortunately, Onomats play has to get hit here, but it has to happen, bro. But honestly, dude, this ban list honestly wasn't that bad. I actually really like this ban list, and I pretty much agree with all the changes. Unfortunately, I still think Blue Eyes is going to be a powerful card or a powerful deck in the metagame. And I think as we're shifting different metas with the new box coming out and whatnot, I still think like Onomats might still be kind of powerful. And Star Seraphs might also be still kind of powerful. But once these like new cards that are coming out in the new box come in and are at full power and people crafted their decks, I think these tiered decks are going to slowly get off the tier list. And thanks to this ban list that's coming out here. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below on the new ban list. This is definitely an insane ban list, definitely needed for the meta game. It's not going to be instant, but it's definitely going to be very helpful for the current meta game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to change, because like I said, the new box that got leaked is very spicy. And which you haven't already, be sure to go check out my last video talking about the new box. I'll put it on the top right over here next to Misty, so be sure to go click that, guys, and whatnot. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll go see you guys in the next video, guys. Have a good one, everybody.